I want to show you a trade that I made almost $100,000 in less than 3 days. And I didn't even have to risk that much as you think I did. Now, the stock I'm going to talk about is something we were talking about in our shorts. VCX went from around 120 to nearly $600. And we're talking about it while it was happening. We even did within these short videos and the moves as it was building. Now, these videos I break down, want to show you exactly the full trade story, how we found it early and what we were looking for while it was moving. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how I spot these types of opportunities before anyone else is able to jump in them, because usually at that time it's too late. Now, before we move on, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and by ringing that bell, you will get notifications of upcoming videos like this. Now let's get started. All right, so we're looking at the stocks chart right here, and here I was reading the news on it, and like I said, watch some of my shorts, and you'll see I go into detail what the company does. Basically, if you're watching for the first time, give you a quick little breakdown. Basically, the company is it's a fund, and they have the private placements of some of the biggest, most powerful IPOs that are coming out this year. Companies like SpaceX, like OpenAI, and a whole bunch of other ones that are out there. Stripe, you said it, they're out there. So you're kind of buying into the company before these companies go public. So they've been public, was great news. And I'm always following these IPOs because some are good and some are not. But we also, they're pretty volatile. But I looked at the stock. It started around $31, and then you could see that it ran to a high and got close up to these numbers here. And I'm like, you know what, at $100, I'm like, you know what, it's getting a little too crazy. So we're watching the consistency. The day goes on. You go on to over the weekend, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, this thing is really not dropping. Okay. So on March 23rd, you can see right here, the shade area is the market close. This is the darker part, is when the market opens up. And I want to zoom in over here. So this is where things started getting very interesting. Now, okay, these are the confirmations from Schwab, and I pinned them all. And you could see here, that was, if you write this down, here's one. I didn't want to buy a lot. I said, let me test this out. So I bought 100 shares, and write that down for 20, basically just under 13,000. And then I did buy a couple other ones. I bought a couple small shares. I managed my niece's accounts. I bought her 1 share, just for fun. Bought another one, 8 shares for another, just for fun. So, and then what ends up happening is, let me move this over here. Those are confirmations. Then I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, and that was right around here. Now, if you notice, the stock started moving. Now, I bought it early in the morning. Once I saw the stock wasn't really backing off, which you could see it right here, I started noticing buyers started coming in. And we use something that's called NASDAQ Total View, which if you watch some of my other videos, I do a lot of videos on NASDAQ Total View and NASDAQ and Level 3. We're looking at the Moomoo platform right now, and on the right, I do have a couple of videos on this talking about it. It's right here. It's the order book. So, if you're interested, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I do a whole demonstration about that too, which is how and what we teach here at Cybertrade University. But getting back to the stock, started breaking up and started going up. Now we started seeing orders starting to show up on the book. And the bad part about this stock, it doesn't trade a lot of volume, and one of the big failure rates of trading is some people don't know what the spreads are. They're very wide and so on. But we were not traders. I did a video on it, and like I said, if I have the video right here, let me bring that up for you. So we did 2 videos. I started here. Here's the video, and I do a lot of shorts. So let me move this down here. So the 2 videos, this was the one right here. Okay, the VCX right there, and you can see it, OpenAI, SpaceX, and I say, hey, listen, the stock went from 31 to 70, so when you get a chance, make sure you watch that video. And then I did a second one, which is this one right here on March 24th, which showed you a little bit more of more of when we sold it. Stock started breaking out. And then I said, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is not backing off at all. I started reading news on it, more people were talking about it. but it didn't get as much attention as I thought. So we've seen these things happen before. And then all of a sudden, stock in the after hours, I'm seeing the stock going up to this 240, 300. I'm like, oh my God, this thing is flying. So what I end up doing is the next morning when the market opened up, I end up buying more. Okay. So I end up buying another 50 shares, and I bought, was another, now that's almost like twice the price that I paid for it. Now I got another 14,000 tied up into it. Say you have 14.5. Okay. So that's the confirmation that I want to stop. 280. 300. Then the market opens up. Now, this is pre-market we're looking at in the shade area on the Moomoo platform, which is great because you could get to see, all this data till the market closes right around here. And then all of a sudden, this is when it all happened. This is when the stock took off. Stock runs to $570. Now, this is when everybody's biggest issue is. A lot of people don't know when to sell. Okay. Now, if it was anyone else, if you made that much money in a short period of time, you probably would have sold it the day before. But, here, I was a market maker here on Wall Street. I live here in New York, and I was always trained, and that's how I train my students to more look at where are those orders and is it going to continue? So it ended up happening. The stock never backed off and it took off. Now, this is where it gets tricky. A lot of people were talking about, it's going to go to 800, 1,000. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was going to continue to go higher. But what happened, something very unique happened here. The candles got very thick, and then the buying started to die. And we have something that's called a Fausto flag. Fausto flag is something that I was taught a long time ago, where consolidation happens, the buyers start running out, the sellers are not there as much, and then they start getting pressure, and you can start seeing it started making something called a higher low, okay? Which means they didn't want to make a newer high, so now the high became, the next trend was the next low. That's when it came to say, you know what? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that's sitting there, and then this is where we had to sell. So, and I loaded up my system, and you can see the sells right here at 495. There's another one. That's the 100, 49,000, 495. The 150 I sold for 498. And obviously there was another one, 495. So the issue with that stock is that it was extremely volatile. If you look at these candlesticks, those candlesticks, the stocks were literally almost maybe $20, $30 wide. Okay. Very, very volatile stock right there. If I break down the minute here, you can see what I'm talking about. Those candles, like I said, were almost like $10, $15. So you could see here on the minute chart, the stock started to die down, and that's when things started going south. So what ended up happening with the stock, let me just zoom out of here a little bit more, a little bit further, where we hit the high right here. So once that started breaking down, I sold it right around this time, right around here when it came down pretty hard because, not at the end of the day, it's a big profit. And then it went back up and I'm like, damn it, do I buy it back? But I was going to buy it back if it got past 560. But unfortunately, when we looked at the NASDAQ total view, which is on the right on the Moomoo platform, we noticed that the orders were still out there and they were pushing it down. And then it came back down to 480. And then it started making what's called a lower low. And that is when the stock broke down and went all the way down to 360. And then listen, the story just tells itself. As we break down, we go from that high to pre-market to 400, and then this morning it dropped all the way down to 200. So the moral of the story is this. How much money did I really invest? Close to 27,000, okay? What did I cash out on? Almost 100. Now, I didn't have to, you don't have to buy the thousands. You don't have to go out there and trade the big sums of money. But there are things that you have to look for to see how it continue to go higher. And when you get a chance, watch these two videos on the shorts. And like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I do a lot of shorts and I talk about block orders, the war, Netflix, SMCI, the CEO selling his selling stock and selling chips to China, and the stock is crushed because catastrophes do make opportunities, and there are opportunities that make opportunities too, like this one, like the VCX. So when it comes to trading, you just the key is follow the money. If you follow the money, and if you have, NASDAQ total view, or if you have something that we called NASDAQ level 4, where you have more of a heat map, it will let you have that little direction. Because remember, it's not the winners that we always worry about, it's the losers. A lot of us sell our winners too soon, we hold our losers too long. So that's the trade from start to finish, just under 100,000 and less than just a couple of days. Now you saw the entries, you saw the exits, and you saw exactly how to play it out. Now listen, this doesn't happen every single day, but believe it or not, moves like this happen more frequently than people realize. The difference is this. Most traders either see them too late or they just don't know how to trade it when it actually happens. And that's really what this video is all about. This is not just being in the right place, the right time. It's knowing what to look for and having the confidence to act when that opportunity is there. Now, hopefully, we gave you a little better understanding of how these trades develop and, most importantly, how you can start realizing and seeing them as early as they happen the next time something like that comes up. Now, so if you want to learn more and you really like what you see, I'm live every morning on YouTube and I do trades like this stuff step by step all the time. And you could also check some of the other videos on my channel where I break down these trades even more. Now, if you want to get some value more out of this, make sure you hit me up, like me up on the button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and then ring that bell so you don't miss the next one because these opportunities come and go more than you can even imagine. So see you in the next one.